Hello and good morning. Let me adjust my camera a little bit there. There we go. Great. Our webinar this morning is part of a series of webinars on the topic of physical and mental wellness. And today I'm here to talk to you about inspiration. The title is, How Do You Inspire Yourself? There's 5 really basic techniques to focus on. The quickest, the most powerful, and then there's another 5 that are just really cool. So we got a total of 10 today. My name is Victoria Leo, and I'm a healer of bodies and minds. I create programs to help people to blast through barriers that are holding them back from their heart's desire, using clinical hypnotherapy, using Reiki energy healing, using professional coaching, and tapping, and some other techniques like that. So I have 2 master's degrees in biology and in psychology. So you're in good hands. How do you inspire yourself? Oh, what a wonderful topic that is. We all have our favorite techniques, and some of us aren't inspiring ourselves on a daily basis because we're thinking inspiration has to come from somebody outside of you, right? The typical, when you think about inspiration, lots of times you'll think about, oh, I go to Pinterest and I see all these really cool pins with these really cool sayings, and and that gets me going, which is wonderful, absolutely wonderful. Everybody's got their favorite quotes, Eleanor Roosevelt, Martin Luther King, etc., Gandhi, whoever, and that's wonderful. There are also motivational speakers who pump you up, get your emotions engaged, get you into the you can do it, you can do it, you can do it, all this stuff. It's great. Bless their hearts. They're doing good stuff. But the problem is, all that pumping up only lasts for a day or 2, or at most 3. And then you need another dose. So you either have to go pay for it again, or you do without. You're back to Pinterest or things you got hanging on your wall, right? Again, nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that. But there's so much more that's available. And I want to introduce you to that, okay? How do you keep going? This is the key. How do you keep going through the tough times? Everybody has tough times that tax your physical and emotional reserves to the max and sometimes beyond. Can be a health challenge. And I'm talking about stuff that's not, it's not easily time limited, right? It's not hard to get through a 24-hour work surge or something that doesn't last very long. But it's like, how do you keep going through the problems that don't go away quickly, where there isn't a quick fix, right? You're a parent, and you need to take a middle schooler to the threshold of young adulthood. That is a multi-year challenge. If you want to further your education, it's not going to happen in 2 weeks. There are people in this world, God bless them, that will go for a weekend seminar and then start advertising themselves as a hypnotherapist. And I'm going, excuse me? I've got a master's degree in psych. I had an 18-month program with a 1-year internship, and I've got 9 years of experience. Okay. There isn't any comparison between me and somebody who got a degree or certification over a weekend. You can become a Reiki master if you've, already got the other levels, et cetera, in 3 intensive days. but you're not going to get a bachelor's degree. You're not going to get an associate's degree. You're not going to get a master's degree. You're not going to, you're not going to get anything substantive in a weekend, right? 3 easy steps, just watch a couple of videos online, and and you can be call yourself a master of this, that, and the other thing. I'm sorry, it just doesn't work that way. So we're talking about here, when you're talking about needing inspiration, what we're talking about is a longer haul, right? How do you keep yourself going when you or someone you love is going to need 18 months of cancer therapy? Or you're on a multi-year career track for educational career track. Okay. I have a bunch of tools that for inspiration, as well as for, stress reduction and so on, in a book called Take Back Your Lost Heart. Take Back Your Lost Heart. All my books are available either through your bookstore, just spell my name right, Leo, not too complicated, Victoria C, or Amazon. Okay. If you like ebooks, they're available in ebook form. Anyway, so some of these tools are available there. But the key is, what I'm trying to help you with are the kinds of things that are not going to be over with in a weekend, where you need long-term inspiration every single day to keep going with a cheerful heart, and without this life tearing down your health. Okay? So, inspiration, let's think about it. There's the short-term pumping up. Forget about that. I mean, do it if you want to, but that's not what I'm talking about here. All right? The basic 5. Okay? Number 1, make a list. Give yourself some time. Make a list of all the times in your life when you have shown courage, fortitude, resilience. Write down what the challenge was, what you did, the fact that you got through it with courage and fortitude and resilience. Even if you had to go cry every night, please understand. Snarling at other people and blaming other people, that's not good, okay? Crying every night is okay. In fact, it's very healthy to relieve your feelings, okay? The fact that you got through it with dignity and resilience, that is what we're looking for, okay? Make a list of them, and then put that list, the short version, okay? Put that list on cards. If you use cards, tape them up where you can see them around the house or in your office or whatever, okay? Or put them on your phone, with the little pop-up reminders. On Monday, I remind myself of this. On Tuesday, I remind myself of that. Have these things pop up, okay? To remind you when you're in the midst of dealing with life, okay, to remind yourself that you are on the hero's journey. You are a person of courage and resilience. It really makes a difference. You can feel yourself, you're breathing more deeply. When you remind yourself of how courageous you've been, you breathe more deeply, your shoulders are back, your chin is high, you can stay calm and centered. You can deal with today and all of its stuff, because you remember that you are a hero. This is number 1. This is the best. Okay. Number 2, Latin numbers. Number 2 is meditation. And I will have people tell me, oh, I can't meditate. Well, I teach 20 different kinds of meditation, and there are in the world over 300 different kinds of meditation. You can't possibly hate them all. It's not possible. Okay? And I'm not laughing at you. I'm laughing at the human condition. Okay? Especially when we're stressed, we have a tendency to try something for 10 seconds, and if it doesn't immediately work, it's like, okay, I can't do that. You've got to resist that. Okay? In my book, Take Back Your Lost Heart, there are several different meditations for people who are convinced that they can't. Okay? The easiest thing on the planet is the 5-breath technique. You can close your eyes or not, okay? You can be having a conversation with somebody and do this. You can be sitting at your desk going, type, 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 and do this. The key is 5 long, slow, deep breaths. Breathe in, inspire, hold, and slowly breathe out. Do that 5 times. It has such an incredible effect on your body, mind, and spirit. It stops the nerve that is constantly stimulating your adrenal glands. And it might not start up again for a couple of minutes, if you're lucky. And you do this regularly. Okay? The other thing that it does, and this is really important, when you take conscious control of your breathing, it signals your limbic system, your emotional reactive mind that's in control most of the time, to let the prefrontal cortex, your thinking mind, the part of you that has a bigger perspective on things, get a word in edgewise. And some of the messages that might come down from your prefrontal cortex, your thinking mind, is, hey, remember the time when I dealt with this and I dealt with that? I lived through that. I can survive this too with courage and dignity. I'm paraphrasing Eleanor Roosevelt, who said it so much more beautifully, but bless her heart. One of my heroines. Okay, so meditation. Turn off that adrenaline cascade, that adrenal cascade, even if it's just for 5 breaths. Your prefrontal cortex is where inspiration comes from. You're turning on the part of your brain that's capable of inspiring you. Okay? Yay. That's number 2. Number 3, Roman letters, Roman numerals. 3 is movement. Yeah. I know you hate exercise. However, your body needs to move. And I have a class that I did on the Sparkle platform, www.zp, like Peter, ARKL, Sparkle, ZPARKL.com. Look for my name. It is called Transforming Your Relationship with Movement. It will get you to clear out all those mental and emotional blocks coming from your life, from your past, from your childhood, from your parents, from your culture, from blah, 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 all these sources, okay? Clear that out and show you all the ways that you can move your body. Get up and stretch once an hour. Please, I beg of you. Prevent so many problems. Movement, moving your body, walking at lunch. I love going to the gym because I am somebody who loves to have fun. What I do when I go to the gym is I get on the treadmill and I have all these library books, all my all the crochet books and the gardening books, and I just disappear. You know, I'm in this other world. My legs are moving, my torso is moving, you know, my body is getting what it needs, and my brain is going, ooh, fun time, woohoo. I'm having a blast. You can bicycle, you can do all kinds of things. Some people, you know, listen to audiobooks or listen to their favorite music, their favorite concerts, you know, whatever. But they've gone to another world, to the fun planet, woohoo, Rat Park. And the thing is, the reason this is about inspiration is because while your body is moving, again, you're stimulating the part of your brain that has creative ideas, that is positive. You're physiologically, you're getting rid of the cortisol and the other stress chemicals in your body. So they're not damaging your body, right? If you move every day for at least 10 minutes, you can add 7 healthy years to your lifespan. Think about what matters to you. Think about what really inspires you. If you're like most people, it's your kids, the vision of having grandchildren someday, great-grandchildren. I've got a client who eats healthy and exercises every day because she brings to mind the vision of walking her granddaughter down the aisle at her wedding. That's what she lives for. Very family, lineage-oriented woman. And in her culture, your mother and your father walk you down the aisle. So, and walk the guy down the aisle too. So it's wonderful. Anyway, blah, 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 blah. But whatever inspires you, whatever you want to live for, realize that movement will give you an average, okay, statistically speaking, 7 healthy years. Ask yourself, and none of us ever thinks that we're actually going to die someday. I'm totally aware of that. We're all immortal, and we're all focused on the here and now. I get that, totally get that. But your prefrontal cortex understands that 7 extra healthy years is a good thing. So breathe, give your prefrontal cortex a chance to get a word in edgewise. Okay. Yoga is movement, and it's also meditation, right? 10 minutes. Please don't tell me you don't have 10 minutes. Call me on the phone. I'll find 10 minutes in your day. And again, I don't mean that facetiously. I mean, seriously, when we're stressed out, we can't think straight. That's what you need a coach for, okay? Somebody who's not inside your head, who can help you to see what's there, okay? Not simplistically, with the utmost respect for all the things that you've got going on in your life. But, okay, you need to move. It's not negotiable. You have to. It's kind of like brushing your teeth. We all had parents that, you got to brush your teeth. So everybody brushes their teeth in the morning. We don't necessarily floss because our parents didn't, nag us to floss. But we all brush our teeth. So brush your teeth and move. Those are the 2 things you have to do every day. Okay. Drink plenty of water and move. Okay. All right. Number 5. 5? Did I get to 4? Oh, no. Number 4. Sorry. Can't count. 4. 4 for inspiration is creative activities. If you've got young kids, you can have daily or 3 times a week coloring time with mom or dad. You've got your adult coloring book with the fancy art quality pencils. and they're doing their thing. It's great. You can paint with or without your kids. I've got the world's cheapest paper, canvases, paint, the whole thing. It's not costing money. Well, some, but a heck of a lot less than a latte every day. So a couple of times a week, do something creative. Now, I write, and writing is creative. However, a lot of my work is writing. And if all I did was writing, there's a part of my brain that's getting overworked, and there's these other parts of my brain that are not having any fun at all. Doing something that involves colors and shape, getting clay, doing paper mache, doing those hanging things. I forgot what they're called. I'll remember 5 minutes after the broadcast. You know what I mean. Anything that involves you creating things, which includes building things, building birdhouses, building dog houses, building, as long as it's not a chore, as long as it's joy, as long as it's art, or, something, that really brings your creative self to bear. Not so much the analytical, more the creative side, right? Building something, making something out of nothingness is as close to divinity as we human beings get. And it feels so wonderful. If you approach it not from I have to do a good job. Oh, I don't know how to draw. Oh, what, and having other people, pass judgment on it. No, that's not what creative activities are about. Creative activities are you and your soul communing, you and the universe communing. Take a bunch of colors and just, breathe to clear your mind, and just grab the first color that grabs you for without analyzing why, and just start slopping paint around. Wash it out, get another color, slop. See what emerges. And it could just be ocean waves. Blues and greens. Wow, isn't that cool, right? And put it aside, and a couple of days later, look at it and see how it makes you feel. Don't analyze it. Don't criticize it. Don't let anybody look at it. Even if they say, oh, yeah, it's really nice. What you're doing is you're getting outside evaluative energy placed on your creative work. Tell your family members, I love you to pieces, leave it alone. Okay? Zip, I don't want to hear it. I love you, go away. Thank you. Okay? Do your thing. Ask yourself how you feel about it. Now, some of the stuff that I do, I end up, either a week later or 3 months later, I just, it used to speak to me, now it doesn't speak to me anymore. I either paint over it, which you can do easily, save the canvas, or I just throw it out. If for whatever reason, the colors or something, I can't save the canvas, I say, the heck with it. The canvas only cost me $1.79, right? It's not a big deal. I buy the 10 pack of the cheapest stuff around, because I'm not Michelangelo, I'm not Picasso, and I'm not trying to be. I'm just enjoying myself. I'm inspiring myself. I look at the paintings that I've done on my wall, and I just feel, oh yes. I can see whatever it is I'm getting all wound up about in a larger perspective. Creativity inspires me while I do it, and it inspires me afterward. I've got a little thing that I bought at a craft store, and I put some Reiki symbols on it. I know it looks like a Z for Zorro, but whatever. I love that thing. It's my pencil, actually my credit card holder, and I've got a circular thing that I for my pencils. You can buy the stuff at craft stores and just paint them. Put little whatever grabs you. And if you decide you don't want to have flowers, just paint it. But create. Give yourself permission to create. Doesn't matter what you create. Just create something tangible. Okay? Great. 5, ta-da, is this is the 5th of the basic ones. And this is remembering the larger context of whatever is going on in your life. Health, family, career, finances, whatever the challenge. And sometimes it's just, I'm trying to build a business, I'm trying to do this, I'm trying to do that. And it's not happening instantly, which of course it's not supposed to, but that's a whole nother subject. You need to keep going, right? You need to keep going. You need to evaluate, is this path for me? Is my strategy working? Because sometimes I just haven't given it enough time, and sometimes the strategy is flawed. I need a new strategy. I need to be inspired to think of a new strategy. And technique number 5 is remembering the larger context. There's a famous saying, a year from now, is this going to matter? And maybe it will. Maybe it will. Maybe somebody's dying, and a year from now, they're not going to be here. So I'm not trivializing what you may be going through. Okay? And that whole, is it going to matter a year from now, isn't my primary, some people are inspired by that. I think it's limited, but, it's good for what it's good for. Okay? Now, the key is this larger perspective comes through transcendence. Now, am I talking about religion? Not necessarily, although prayer, right? Knowing yourself to be loved and enfolded in the loving arms of Mother Mary, God, Vishnu, which is just an avatar of the one God, but, whatever your religious belief is, that can be the transcendence. Okay? Reminding yourself that whatever you're going through, this is not your only lifetime. Whatever you're trying to accomplish is not the real goal of your life. Your goal is the achievement of nirvana, or building wisdom, living a good life so that you can, go to heaven, et cetera, et cetera. Okay, there's a larger dimension, and you can find that through religion. You can also find it through spirituality. Now, religion is involved in dogmas and beliefs and practices, rituals. Rituals can be very inspiring, because they take you out of your head into the space where you're part of something bigger than yourself. Okay? Spirituality is touching the transcendent. A lot of people, when they meditate, they feel that they're not alone, that there's an energy, there's something surrounding them, there's something out there outside of their own body. Some people who would term themselves secular humanists or whatever are what Pope Francis actually said, is that transcendence is what matters. And a lot of people who don't have a God, and they don't have any kind of religion or spirituality or formal spirituality, feel awe and transcendence in nature. And that's their church. Pope Francis said, for some people, nature is your church. The night sky, not in Seattle because we rarely see the sky. Wow, the sky is blue. Who knew? I'm sorry. Every time I do one of these webinars, I've got some Seattle comment. I should make a New Year's resolution to stop, but it's too easy a target. It's too funny. We have to laugh, otherwise we'd cry. Anyway, look up at the sky. Look at those brilliant jewels in the dark velvet vastness, and think about the fact that the light that's impinging on your eyes, the light that you're seeing, has been traveling for thousands, in some cases millions or billions of years through empty space to get to you. You're essentially looking back in time. It's amazing. You can't look up at a brilliant sky with the Milky Way spread across the sky and not feel awe and not feel taken out of your immediate concerns into an appreciation of the larger context. There are so many songs, country music songs. Have you ever felt small as you contemplate the ocean? I think it's Leanne Rimes. I Hope You Dance, right? A lot of songs, because that's a form of inspiration, looking at this larger context. Even if you just do it for a few moments, it inspires you, calms you, centers you, reminds you that there was life before this problem, there will be life after this problem, even if the life after this problem is vastly different. Okay. You'll still be you. You'll still be this courageous, resilient soul, seeking wisdom, seeking transcendence, seeking to be a good person, seeking to take care of your children. I do a class called Meet Your Ancestors, and I take you on a journey through 10,000 generations of Homo sapiens. When we think about ancestors, we think about the people that we know on a genealogy chart, but there are so many more. Your ancestors overcame obstacles that, if you really think about it, put whatever you're dealing with in stark contrast. Homo sapiens is an amazing species. Think about the Africans who survived the Middle Passage to come to America. Phyllis Wheatley, the little 8-year-old who became a poet in her second language of English. And so many others. All those survivors, the ones who perished, tried their hardest but perished, the ones who, they were courageous, they just didn't make it, and the ones who survived, right? They are our ancestors. They're in our DNA. We are the descendant of heroes and some rogues and some other people, other folks. But there's heroic DNA in every single one of us. Every ethnic group on the planet. Human beings are amazing. Use number 5 to inspire yourself. Pray, meditate, look up at the sky, look around you, think about your ancestors. Okay. Those are the top 5, the biggest bang for the buck, as it were. There's another 5 I'm going to tell you about that are just plain fun. Also effective. And actually, it was quite hard deciding which were going to be the top 5, but those 5 really stuck out. So number 6 is Reiki Energy Healing. This is REIKI. My email address is victoria.leo.reiki, REIKI, @gmail.com. And in fact, if you want a copy of today's presentation, just email me. I'll send you a file, and I'll also put you on my mailing list unless you never want to see me again, which is hard to imagine. I send out a newsletter once a month or whenever I get around to it, which is always less than a month, more than a month. So you're not going to be bothered by bombarded with emails, I promise you. Anyway, Reiki, amazing pain control, anxiety control. You can make yourself feel great physically, mentally, emotionally, whenever you want to. Totally under your control if you get trained. There's Reiki level 1, level 2, and then master level. And then there's things beyond that. Karuna Reiki is really great for the emotional healing stuff. So, but, you know, it's really great, and I recommend it. There's another way of inspiring yourself, which is being of service. And I'll say being of service to people or animals, or rescuing plants isn't really a service project. Although if you're creating a community garden, you know, it involves plants, but it's service to people, okay? What you want to do to inspire yourself is to put yourself in the role where you're helping take care of somebody else. You're alleviating suffering. This is another one of those divine tasks. You can feel like, if you're so inclined, a conduit of divine energy. You can also, forget about the spiritual context. You can also think of yourself, because you are, building your empathy muscles, building your compassion muscles, making yourself a wiser and healthier person through acts of service. It can be as simple as helping a neighbor. Little things. It can be volunteering to clean up the dog poop at the animal shelter and play with the dogs, socialize them, spend time with the cats, bring some home. I've already got 6 pets, so I'm immune. But find there's so much suffering in the world. There's so many needs. And if you're in a situation where you are, you're just up to here with chores, think about ways that you can be of service to others in ways that work for you. I've got a client who's got a kid who's having trouble with math. And she was like, okay, the budget is tight, but we have to have money for tutoring. And what she did is she put up a sign at her church, and she got permission to put up a sign at her school saying, I'm getting an after-school tutor for 6th grade math for my son. Do you want to join in? And what she did was she created a little mini class. There's 3 kids. Her son and 2 others who are working with a tutor, and it's the same subject, so everybody's approximately on the same page. And one of those kids, the family is in worse shape than she is, so she is not asking them to chip in. In fact, she lied to them and said, oh, no. I got a coupon, I'm getting it for free. It's like, I said, is that actually believable? She said, they believed me. And the thing is, if someone is financially desperate enough, they will believe anything. It's just how our brain works. So, and I'm not promoting lying as a, as a virtue, but in this case it is. It was a gracious way to give a gift. Okay, so these people don't have to feel that they have to give it back, and they're not going to refuse to tutor their kid because they don't have the money. This was a gracious way to gift, and she's being of service. She could have just had her own kid tutored, but this way she's being of service to 2 other families. And her son was actually helpful for her son because he doesn't have to feel like he's the only person on planet Earth who can't get 6th grade math. We all have a tendency to just like, oh, well, I don't want to be the only stupid person in the room. Honey, you're not. No matter what the subject matter is, even if you're 69 years old, you're not the stupidest person in the room. Okay, just forget about that whole mindset. Okay. Number 7. Watch videos that are going to build empathy. Inspiration comes from empathy. For me, one of my favorite movies is a Civil War drama, actually, called Glory, about hundreds of men who walked into certain death for a greater good, for a cause, and a noble cause. And there's so many of them. There are biopics of Mother Teresa. There are heartwarming. Some people who haven't seen the movie Pollyanna disparage it, but it's actually very inspirational. And it warms the cockles of your heart watching how a positive attitude, coupled with a truly empathetic heart, can help turn a whole community around. So watch things, and there's been research done on this. Residents, medical residents who watched an inspirational biopic were then evaluated for their bedside manner, and for 3 weeks after just watching one inspirational movie, their bedside manner was so much better, so much more empathetic. And these are people who are not sleeping at night. They're getting like 4 hours of sleep. A surgical resident once, prior to surgery, once told me, and okay, you can short hair, but I'm a woman, all right. Once told me that one of the side effects of the surgery was probably going to be a temporarily enlarged prostate. And I just nodded my head and said, because I was at some point, this guy is going to realize that he's telling a woman that she's to watch out for prostate issues, And to this day, I have no idea if he woke up at 2 o'clock in the morning and said, OMG. But I think it's hilarious. So if those people could build empathy, and it lasted for 3 weeks from just one movie, if we set ourselves a once a week habit of, I'm going to watch something that builds empathy, right? Just think of what we could do in terms of inspiration, how we can keep ourselves going with this larger context, I'm going through a tough time, but there's so much love in the world, right? That's what these things do. Reminds us that at the center of the universe rotates on an axis of pure love. That's the Upanishads, humanity's oldest literature. Comedy. Everybody knows this one, right? Rick Mercer He's my favorite, my favorite eye candy in terms of, comedy, right? I guess eye candy isn't really the right word. He's funny. He has all these adventures. Rick Mercer tagging wild bear cubs is the best show ever. They're so adorable. Things that make you laugh, right? Things that they're inspirational. Laughing changes your biochemistry, right? So look for opportunities to laugh. Go to YouTube and find funny things. I've got a whole slew of comedians I watch when I'm having a tough time. And I schedule something funny at least once a week, right? And when I'm going through a really tough time, it's like every day. But, it could be 10 minutes. 10 minutes of laughing inspires you. Okay. And then the last one, which I almost put on the top 5. I was so close to putting it on the top 5, and you may put it into your top 5. And that is try something new. When you do something new, your emotional limbic system has to let go and let your prefrontal cortex drive the bus, because you're not in a situation where you know what's going on. You have to navigate the more new things, the more new experiences you put yourself through, the more new neurons, you're building brain capacity. Okay? You've got stem cells in your brain that are just sitting there. And if you need more brain capacity because you're doing a lot of new things, the stem cells start maturing and creating adult neurons. This could be helpful in your memory. It can be helpful in your reasoning, figuring things out areas. Okay? And the thing is, when you're stressed, I know the last thing you want to do is try to be in a situation where you don't know what's going on. But it's really good for you. It's so good for you. I try a new crochet stitch, right? I try a new creative thing. I go someplace new. Find someplace I've never been before and explore. Go to a new museum. Have a new experience. When I was in Queenstown, New Zealand, on my one of my trips, there was a sign that said, I forgot what it was, hang gliding or something. Basically, you're with somebody who knows what they're doing, thank God, and you run really fast and you jump off a mountain into thin air. I wasn't worried because I had updated my will before I went on this trip. So I knew all my loved ones would be provided for. And also, I had faith in the skill of the person with me and the principles of physics of lift, But that was a totally new, and my company is Soaring Dragon. SoaringDragon.biz, B-I-Z. So, and I'd never been until that point, I'd never been soaring. Woo! It was amazing. It was so amazing. And I've got a picture on my wall of me, far above the mountains, far above the clouds. Just like, oh! And it inspires me. If I survived that, I can get through today. Try new things. There's in your newspaper, buy your newspaper on a Friday and look at what's going on the weekend and pick something you've never done before. Pick something that you would never in a million years see yourself doing. Those are the best. The Oh my God, that's like so not me. I mean, nothing immoral or fattening, but pick something that may never be you. On the other hand, all the things that you currently love are things that you tried once, right? Yeah. You tried it once and it was like, I don't know. You tried it the second time, it was like, ooh, this is cool. And then the third time you were in love. So anyway, so inspiration. Excuse me. Allergies. The key is, after you do any of these things, any of the 10 things on this list, you're going to feel this incredible surge of energy. You'll feel and you'll believe that you can do it. And that is the goal, right? Excuse me. Having an expectation that whatever you're going through is going to end at some point. And most importantly, no matter when it ends, you're not trying to control the outside world. The key is, I'm a person of courage. I'm a person of resilience. I can do this. I will do this. I will survive with dignity. All will be well. So do your inspirational things daily. Hang your art where you can see it. Remind yourself of your victories. I'm going to tell you about a victory of mine. I ended up with completely crippled hands because when they first started hurting, I didn't stop what I was doing and go to the doctor. I don't have time for this. People who coddle themselves. Ugh. That's why I don't go there these days. I learned my lesson. Anyway, crippled my hands. And I had a book that I wanted to write. My hands were crippled for 18 months before I was able to rehab them back to, most of the function that I had prior. I needed to create a 350-page book in my head. I couldn't write. I needed to create an outline of the chapters. I needed to create an outline within each chapter, what was going to be in each chapter. And then I needed, because I spent I took my disability, I had disability income. I took all that money and I threw it into hiring somebody to take dictation. But I had to do all the work of composing. I had to say, new paragraph, blah, 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 comma, blah, 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 period. Blah, 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 open parentheses, blah, 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 close parentheses, blah, 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 period. New paragraph. Major heading, bold, blah, 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 end of major heading. New paragraph. I had to do everything in my head. And if you think that's easy, I recommend that you try it. And our species, we are capable of so much more than we realize. And when I'm up against some issue, I'll remind myself that I'm the person who wrote a 350-page book, the first draft. After the first draft, I could look at it and then I could have directions that say on page 5, paragraph 3, line 7, where it says blah, blah, blah. Let's change that to blah, 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 But the first draft was up here. And I had to remember in chapter 5 what I said in chapter 1. And if you think that's easy, you should try it. most most people who are, typing a book find all kinds of continuity issues like that, and that's what a good editor is for. But anyway, it's not about me patting myself on my back for your edification. This is something that I get to remind myself. Okay, you have things that can inspire you. You have the opportunity to move your body. You have an opportunity to take 5 breaths. You have the opportunity to meditate. You have the opportunity to create. You have the opportunity to see the larger perspective, to learn Reiki, and so on. Take those opportunities. The motivational rah, rah, rah folks are fine. Pinterest is wonderful. Bottom line, though, you don't actually need anything outside of yourself. You've got everything you need right here. My name is Victoria Leo. I'm a healer of mind and body. You can find me at soaringdragon.biz, B-I-Z. And I look forward to having you invite me back into your life again, either next week or if you're watching this on YouTube, in the next 2 minutes, because you can queue up another video. Enjoy your life. Enjoy your inspiration.